Hello students, good morning. Hope you people are good. Welcome to science class. In previous session we saw videos regarding the chapter 3 in chemistry. Yes, fiber to fabric. So all have you understood the chapter, right? Yes, and also completed the notes also, isn't it? Okay. So now we will start a new chapter in physics. So the chapter name is heat. So let me start. Learning objectives. So in this chapter we are going to learn about heat, sources of heat, and then one activity, temperature, thermometer, and the types of thermometer and the working process of thermometer. Heat. Students, you might have observed that if you leave a steel spoon in a glass of hot milk for some time, then what happens? Yes, the spoon becomes warm, right? Have you ever wondered why this happens? Yes, this is because of heat. So when a hot object and a cold object come in contact with each other, so a type of energy flows from the hotter object to the colder one, and this is called as heat energy. So an object becomes warm when heat energy flows into it, and it becomes cold when heat energy flows out of it. So let us begin with a small experiment. So try this experiment, students. So what is this experiment? Come, let us learn. So keep a tin or aluminium sheet out under sun and touch after some time. Then place the same thing or aluminium sheet inside the house. Then again touch the sheet after some time. So in the first case we feel hot, and in the second case we feel cold. So sun gives us heat. So what are the sources of heat? Come, let us check. Sources of heat. Anything that gives off heat is a source of heat. So the main source of heat are the sun, the burning fuel, electricity, and the mechanical work. Students, man can generate heat, right? How? Like by burning wood, coal, and gas. Not only that, wood, coal, and gas are called as fuels, isn't it? So as we know, fuels burn in machine to make them work, and a motor car runs by burning fuel, isn't it? And not only that, an aeroplane flies by burning fuel. So next we will see about the electricity. So how the electricity gives us heat. Electricity. Electricity also gives us heat, that we know. And man uses electricity for what purpose? Yeah, to cook the food and work the machines. Heat can also be produced by rubbing two things together. This is by doing mechanical works. So come, let us check this with an example. Students, rub the palms of your hands together. Have you started? Yes. What do you feel? Yeah, you feel that it is hot. Why it is hot? Yes, because when you rub your hands together, the action of scraping the surface of your skin back and forth against each other causes the molecules in your skin to move a little faster. So, the faster that molecules move, the higher the temperature. So, the friction of rubbing your hands together makes them feel warmer. Students, what is this friction? Come, let us check. So, here is the answer for that. So, what is friction? If you rub your hands together, they get warm. So, just now we saw that. So, there is a resistance to the rubbing motion. So, what is the name of that resistive force? That is nothing but friction. So, what causes this force? So, your hands might look smooth, but on a microscopic level, they have rough surface. So, when you rub your hands together, you feel the resistive force of friction. Okay? Students, you must have held both ice and hot cup of coffee. Why is it that one you feel cold while in the other it is hot? When heat energy from our body flows out rapidly, we feel very cold. This is in the case when we hold our ice. Ice on the palm gives the sensation of cold because heat from your body flows out of your body to the ice. With this heat, the ice on your palm melts. When the heat energy flows from outside into our body is rapid and more, we feel very hot. This is in the case when we hold hot cup of coffee. The heat from tea or coffee close to the tea to the hand. Thus, it is the flow of heat energy which determines the cold or hot. Right? So now we'll check about temperature. Temperature. Students, we say that water from fridge is cold and milk is hot. So how much cold is water? Is it cooler than ice? Or how much hot is milk? Is it hotter than a boiling water? So obviously for this we need a measure to know about coldness and hotness. So for example, the sun and a cup of tea are not equally hot, right? Similarly, the snow and a glass of chilled juice are not equally cold. So there is a difference in the degrees of hotness or coldness of things. So I think now you have guessed what is temperature. Yes. So the temperature is the degree of hotness or coldness of an object. So let us check this with an activity. Students, we often touch objects to decide how hot or cold they are. But is our sense of touch is reliable? So here is a simple activity to understand this. So for this activity, what are the materials we need? 3 beakers. It should be labeled as A, B and C. Then warm water, cold water and normal water. So let's check the procedure. Take 3 beakers. So pour warm water in beaker A and cold water in beaker C. So in beaker B, pour water at a room temperature. Next, dip the index fingers of your left and right hands in beakers A and C respectively for about a minute as shown in the images. Then dip both the fingers in beaker B. So what can you observe? You will notice that the water in beaker B feels cold to the left index finger and warm to the right index finger. So therefore we conclude that the terms hot and cold are relative. There should be a reference temperature with respect to which we can say whether a given object is hot or cold. Our sense of touch is therefore not reliable in determining how hot or cold objects are. Students, do this activity to understand that hot and cold are reliable. Students, so you understood about heat and temperature. So what is heat? Yes, heat is a form of energy. Then temperature? Yes, temperature is the measurement of hotness or coldness of an object. So here is a table which shows difference between heat and temperature. So what is the difference between heat and temperature? So first we will check about heat. So as I said, heat is a form of energy. And in temperature, so temperature is a measure of heat energy level. Then coming to heat. Heat energy raises the temperature of a body. In temperature, so temperature decides the direction of flow of heat. Heat flows from a body at high temperature to the body at low temperature. Then heat is measured in joules and the temperature is measured in degree Celsius or Kelvin. Now we learnt about heat and temperature. So let us look at the device used to measure temperature. Students, measuring temperature by touch is the easiest method, but it is not always reliable. Reliable is nothing but trustable. Hence, reliable methods to measure temperatures are required. So, the instrument used to measure temperature is called, yes, thermometer. So the two most common types of thermometers are, one is clinical thermometer and the other is laboratory thermometer. So come, let us know more about clinical thermometer. A clinical thermometer is used to measure our body temperature. You all have experienced it, right? So it consists of a long, narrow glass tube with two parts. So one is bulb and stem. So first we will talk about bulb. This is the part which actually touches the object whose temperature is to be measured. And the bulb contains either mercury or alcohol. So come, let us discuss why mercury is used in thermometers. Why? Because mercury is preferred in most thermometers because it is present in liquid state over a wide range of temperatures. Not only that, it is silvery grey in color. So therefore, it is relatively easy to observe. Then it does not stick to the glass in which it is enclosed. The mercury in the bulb becomes hot and rises into the capillary tube when the temperature around the bulb increases. Similarly, the mercury level falls as the temperature around the bulb decreases. The mercury level can be read with the help of a scale marked on the body of the stem, which indicates the temperature. However, one drawback of using mercury is that it is very toxic. Toxic means poisonous. Now let us discuss why alcohol is used in the thermometers. The range of temperature that can be measured using alcohol is as less as minus 70 degree Celsius. And not only that, alcohol is cheaper than mercury. That is, its freezing point is much lower than that of mercury. Therefore, alcohol thermometers are useful in very cold places. On the other hand, the drawback of using alcohol in thermometer is its boiling point is very low, making it unsuitable to measure very high temperature. That is, the temperature above 78 degrees Celsius cannot be measured. Now next we will check about capillary tube. The capillary tube. The capillary tube has a bend or kink at the bottom that does not allow the mercury to fall after it has risen into the capillary tube. So this helps us to read the temperature without any error. The thermometer has to be shaken after every use to force the mercury back into the bulb. So next is stem. It is glass capillary tube through which the mercury or alcohol rises or falls as the object around the bulb warms or cools. Next is scale. The scale marked on the stem indicates the temperature of the substance. So next we will learn about the scales of the temperature. Scales of temperature. Temperature is commonly measured on the Celsius or Fahrenheit scales. The units of temperature on these scales are the degree Celsius and degree Fahrenheit respectively. For scientific purpose, the absolute or Kelvin scale of temperature is used. The unit of temperature on the scale is the Kelvin, which is also the SI unit of temperature. 1 Kelvin is equal to 1 degree Celsius. In India, we normally use the Celsius scale of temperature. Now let us learn about the Celsius scale. The Celsius scale. The lower fixed point is taken as 0 degree Celsius. Celsius is indicated as C. The upper fixed point is taken as 100 degree Celsius. And the interval between the two fixed points is divided into 100 equal parts, and each part is 1 degree Celsius. So next we will learn about Fahrenheit scale. The Fahrenheit scale. The lower fixed point is taken as 32 degree Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit is indicated as F. The upper fixed point is taken as 212 degree Fahrenheit. The interval between the two fixed points is divided into 180 equal parts. So each part is 1 degree Fahrenheit. So since the fixed points used for the two scales are the same, we see that 100 degrees on the Celsius scale is equal to 180 degrees on the Fahrenheit scale, and that 0 degree Celsius is equal to 30 degree Fahrenheit. So next we will learn about the precautions should be taken while using the clinical thermometer. Students, Precautions should be observed while reading a clinical thermometer. So what are they? Come, let us discuss. Wash the thermometer in clean water. That is, thermometer should be washed before and after use, preferably with an antiseptic solution. Jerk the thermometer to bring the mercury thread below 36 degrees Celsius. That is, ensure the mercury level is below 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Read the thermometer keeping the level of mercury along the line of the sight. So while reading the temperature, do not hold the thermometer by the mercury bulb. Next, after use, wash the thermometer before storing it. Handle the thermometer with care. Why? Because if it hits against some hard object, it can break. So nowadays, a digital thermometer is used instead of a clinical thermometer. Why? Because this thermometer is rarely used as it is fragile and spilling of mercury poses a risk to the user health. So come, let us learn more about digital thermometer. Students, have you seen this digital thermometer? Yes? Yeah. I think your parents may also use this digital thermometer. Why? To check the body temperature, right? So nowadays a digital thermometer is used instead of a clinical thermometer. It is an electronic thermometer commonly used to measure body temperature. So it has no mercury in it. This is an advantage as there is no danger of spilling the poisonous mercury in case of breakage. The temperature is shown as a number on a display screen. Hence, it is easier to read than a clinical thermometer. Next is laboratory thermometer. Laboratory thermometer. As the name suggests, laboratory thermometers are used in the laboratories. Why? Because to experiment purpose. The range of temperature that a laboratory thermometer can measure is between -10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. Not only that, it is longer than a clinical thermometer. It is made of a thin glass tube sealed at one end and a bulb with a mercury at the other end. The working mechanism of a laboratory thermometer is the same as that of clinical thermometer. It measures temperature by the rise or fall of mercury. It does not have a bend or kink. So students, let us summarize what we have learnt in this session. We learnt about heat and sources of heat, examples of sources of heat, and then friction, then temperature. So difference between the heat and the temperature, and about the thermometer, then types of thermometer. So how should we read the temperature of the thermometer, then precautions used while handling the thermometer, then digital thermometer and laboratory thermometer. Students, in the next session we will learn about heat and forms of heat and transfer of heat, and then land breeze, sea breeze, and so on. So go through the video once again and note down the important points, students. So take care. Thank you.